Hello and welcome, I am DarcyBits. Today we're using Urza's AI to make randomly generated cards that match the mana costs and card types from a real Magic the Gathering draft pack. The way we're doing this is we've used MTG Gen to generate a random draft pack, and we've used Scryfall to take those cards and find the mana costs and card types. The reason we use both those resources is so I can automate the process using a spreadsheet. It's more complicated than I really need to get into right here, so don't worry about it. It works, and I'm very happy with the results. The point being is, today we're using Commander Legends as our base set, so that we can generate enough cards for a Winchester draft pool, so we can play some draft Commander. I'm going to be basing this off of kind of the idea of a Chaos draft, with the premise that even though all of the packs that we're making are based off Commander Legends, each one's going to be given a unique name as far as Urza's AI is concerned to give them a different flavor, give them a different theme. Today we're using Fisherman's Delight, and I'm really interested to see what the AI is going to do when it's not left to its own devices. If you just told Urza's AI to make Fisherman's Delight as a deck, it would probably give you a mono blue deck. If you didn't force it to use specific mana costs, it's just going to give you blue cards. So I'm really excited to see what it's going to do when we give it the exact mana costs and card types from a random draft pack. With all that said, let's get started and see some cards. Our first card is Stream of Consciousness, a 2-mana green instant. Target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Hail the Mead Maker. That'll clear out a whole bevy of terrors. Zach, patron deity of Nethermancy. That is a lot of stuff going on. That sounds like it has nothing to do with Fisherman's Delight, but okay. Nethermancy is a great name for a fake magic school. That's excellent. Mind Swap is a 2-mana black instant. Look at the target opponent's hand and choose one card from it. That player discards that card. Okay, so we got 2 discard effects so far. Unless I completely misread the first card, I'm second guessing myself immediately. How many people are your audience? 1, 2, or 20? You're only the presenter. Hoffman. Might of the Nothrus is a 3-mana white enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+2 as long as it's attacking. Okay. Whenever enchanted creature blocks or becomes blocked, defending player sacrifices a creature. Oh. Okay, that's actually pretty strong. Cool. First I was like, it's kind of weak for the cost there. It's just like +1/+2 and only when it's attacking, but the sacrifice effect is pretty strong. Alright, I'm into it. That's fun. Call the Shaman is a 2-mana 1/2 human shaman. Tap. Target creature you control gains haste until end of turn. Activate only once each turn. Okay. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not very good either. It's perfectly fine. I'm into it. He sings of what is in the ice and the stream. Stream is showing up more than once, which makes sense for a fisherman. I'm into that. Rot Farm Goblins is a 3-mana 2/2 red goblin shaman. When Rot Farm Goblins enters the battlefield, you may have it deal 1 damage to target creature you control. If you do, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Oh, cool. So it's a 3-mana 2/2, not very good. ETB, it deals 1 damage to a target creature you control. Now, it's ETB, so it can hit itself, I think. So it's not like... And even if it didn't, it's going to give everything +1/+1. So I think this is really just give your board +1/+1 on ETB every time, I think. But you've marked damage, so like one thing is only getting +1/+0, kind of. Yeah, I'm into it. I think it's fun. Pretty powerful. A classic goblin dance to the music of hell. Yeah! Let's go. Sweep Away is a 2-mana black instant. Sweep Away deals 3 damage to target creature, and 1 damage to that creature's controller. Okay. Works. Maidens, please. Enduring Drake is a 4-mana red 3/4 dinosaur, not a drake. It has first strike and haste. I do not know what that combination of keywords and stat line should go for as far as mana cost. It seems pretty good. I would think that's pretty strong. Not sure. I must thank my predecessor for this blessing. Chandragupta. Yeah. Defiant Effort is a 5-mana white sorcery. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens with lifelink, where X is that creature's power. Oh, cool. Wow. Okay, so it's sorcery speed token generation, so it's not as strong as instant speed token generation. That's important to note. But +3/+3 means no matter what you're targeting with it, you're getting at least 4? I like this spell. This spell's cool. It is better to make a single enemy soldier who is already ready to fight than to raise an army and wait for your foes to be born. What? Oracle on Vec. It's better to make a single enemy soldier who is already ready to fight than raise an army and wait for your foes to be... No, that doesn't make any sense. Moving on. We made it to our first legendary creature. Excellent. This, of course, is important because we were planning to play Commander Draft. Each of these packs should have, I think, at least 2 commanders in them, the way that they're made. I'm not 100% sure. I'm letting MTG Gen handle that. I don't need to worry about it. But this is a potential commander when we eventually play with these cards. Glimhav Keyrune is a 2-mana 2/2 black and red legendary creature orc pirate. It has double strike, and whenever you cast a spell, untap Glimhav Keyrune and you gain 2 life. Ooh, they seem like a good commander. Dang. It's not like extremely synergistic. It's just a strong card that you're going to be really happy to have in your command zone. And it's 2 colors. I like it. I like it a lot. Also, Orc Pirate is just a really fun... I don't know if there's been Orc Pirates in Magic or not, but Urza's AI makes so many Orc Pirates. I think like every pirate I've seen it make has made an Orc Pirate, and I want that. I want Orc Pirates to be a thing. Only you can protect your kingdom, Glimhav. Only you can protect your kingdom. Glimhav is the one who tells us to strike fear into the hearts of our enemies. It is my duty to carry out his order. Queen Iron. Wait, why does this pirate have able to order a queen? What is going on? I'm into it though. This little 2-mana 2/2 double striker. Gain life whenever... I guess if you could find, like, life gain payoff, that could be a cool commander for that. Yeah, okay. It doesn't have no build around. It's not just a good card. Cool. No, I'm into it. That is a high potential for commanders. Frozen Maw is a 4-mana 3/4 fish! Yes! It has menace. This creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Excellent. Whenever Frozen Maw attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It is a 4-mana 3/4 with menace that when it attacks is a 4/5. I think that's pretty good. Like, a 4-mana 4/5 isn't great. A 4-mana 3/4 is even worse. But it's got menace. I don't know how much menace goes for as far as, like, cost analysis. I think it seems pretty good. There's an echo of thaw in the chill of the mountains. Frozen Maw could be anything. Do you know that stingrays have the fish type line? I'm never going to get over that. Oh, but sharks are just sharks. Yeah, of course. Like starfish is its own type. Jellyfish is its own type. But mantas, no, they're fish. They're definitely fish. Calabrisk is a 7-mana 3/5 artifact creature construct. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Once again, the AI cannot make expensive cards. It just can't. It can't do it. So, I think now is the time to talk about the thing that I haven't mentioned yet, which is, what are my reroll rules going to be? Oftentimes when I'm making a set, I reroll, and a big part of that is to get cards that are at least playable. They're not just going to never see play. And I think that is oftentimes useful, but I wanted to sort of avoid that this time around. I want to see what happens if I just say, Urza, you can do whatever you want. And to that end, I'm going to establish a couple rules for myself. If a card forces the player to do something that is illegal, then I'll get to reroll it. If a card forces the player to perform an action that, like, is unknown what that would be and you can't properly perform, you get to reroll that. If a card has reminder text for a real keyword, but it has the wrong reminder text, I'm going to ignore the reminder text and use the real keyword. If it has reminder text without an obvious connection point, like it's not obvious what it's reminder text for, I'm going to just ignore the reminder text. So hopefully that all checks out. If it's like the right reminder text, great. If it is reminder text for a new keyword that Urza's AI came up with itself, then that's also great. So those are what I'm going to do. And therefore, we're not doing a power level reroll. So this 7 mana 3/5 artifact creature construct gets in the game. In every dark corner, a perfect circle is drawn to lead all lost souls to the abyss. Yeah, well, not this one. Marababaru is a 2 mana 1/1 fish. When Marababaru enters the battlefield, you get energy, 2 energy counters. Whenever Marababaru attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. Okay, so this card's good. I like this. 2 mana 1/1 that grows whenever it attacks. Seems fun to me. Oftentimes, it's not going to have the ability to really attack. You'd be like, it's a 1/1, and it has nothing to attack without dying instantly. Oops. But you could maybe do something with it. I'm interested to see what you could do. Generating energy is interesting. Oftentimes, cards that generate energy in real Magic have a way of spending that energy so that even if you have no synergies, you can still use the energy one time. This just makes energy for a different card to use. And we might see energy. Urza's AI makes energy more off, like it happens. But it is very likely that the energy counters are going to be 100% irrelevant. I guess we'll find out. Crypt Creeper is a 6 mana 4/5 Phyrexian horror. When Crypt Creeper enters the battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, it's not exciting. It's a 6 mana 4/5, so kind of lower stats than you'd expect for 6 mana, and it finds you something in your graveyard to go into your hand. If it put directly in the battlefield, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Maybe that's too powerful, I don't know, but yeah, not interesting. Its rumbling calls have hired many to their doom. Its rumbling calls have lured many to their doom. Yeah, sure. That makes sense. And then it brings them back again. Oramonk Collar Breaker is a 6 mana 4/4 red Minotaur. Other white creatures get +1/+1. Ooh, interesting. 2 things about this. 1, okay, it's encouraging you to be in 2 colors. I think it's really interesting when a card encourages you to be in 2 colors without just requiring you to be in 2 colors. Especially from the perspective of Commander, right? This card does not have a color identity of red-white. So you could put it in a mono-red deck or into a red-white deck. That's fun. The other thing to note about this is that it says other white creatures, not other white creatures you control. All that said, 6 mana 4/4 that buffs everything by 1 probably isn't that great anyway, so it doesn't really need that drawback, so that's kind of disappointing, but it's cool from, like, I don't know, it's worth pointing out. And I think in a limited environment, it's something that you would consider, playing. It's like armor-piercing ape juice. What? Oramonk Collar Breaker. It's like armor-piercing ape juice. Yeah, nice. Spelljammer. Do you think they're going to do an MTG Spelljammer? Like, they released a source book for Spelljammer for 5e, and they did the D&D set for Magic the Gathering. They could make a Spelljammer Magic the Gathering set. That's a thing they could do. Isn't that wild to think about? Spelljammer is a 2-mana blue instant. Draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life. Huh. Okay. I mean, that's just like a black spell, but it's in blue now. Ponder the beauty of the sea, and you will know that I, Urza, do not make the world, but merely show you its beauty. Tahngarth, founder of Spelljammer. Tahngarth, are you lying about being Urza? Why would you do that? Who are you trying to convince that you're Urza? Gearsmith Apprentice is a 1-mana 1/1 human artificer. It's black. Gearsmith Apprentice can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool. I'm into that. Like, yeah, it's only a 1/1. Like, this is just worse than it can't be blocked, and you could definitely see, like, a 1-mana 1/1 that can't be blocked or something be a thing. But still kind of cool, being able to sort of chip in with damage. If you have, like, something that cares about when you deal combat damage, this is going to be blocked by very few things. So, cool. Yeah. I like it. I am content to sit and watch while they perfect their machines. Their wits are too valuable to be squandered on our battles. Brutal Edifice. Board Game Cache? What? Board Game Cache is a 2-mana artifact. You have no maximum hand size. Tap, add blue, red, or white. Interesting. So first of all, from the perspective of how does this compare to real cards, it's way too strong compared to real cards. I'm ignoring that. That doesn't matter. Who cares? This is AI. Anything goes. We're not worrying about it. But from a commander perspective, this is interesting in that you can only, like, commander identity and says that you can't play this unless you're in red, white, blue, which is a little bit frustrating because, yeah, this would be a pretty cool card otherwise. Nice fixing if you're in any of those 2-color pairs, but alas, it's technically not possible. I wonder if we'll commit to that rule. Previously, when we've done commander games on the channel, because of the nature of the AI, we have been a little bit wobbly with the color identity of cards going in the deck. I think that mana cost we've never broken, but like text, like mana symbols in the card text, we have broken the rule on that in the past, and it seems kind of reasonable. Like, you could very easily just be like, yep, just if a card has a mana symbol that is not a cost, treat it as generic, and the card would work just as well. And I think that's probably fine. But I guess I'll have to talk with my partner about if that is something we want to do or not. But hey, if you want to go, if you can go 3 colors, then this might be worth doing. Knowledge and practice have bred a deft touch and steady hand. Sarah Sraw, Warden of the Winds, is a 3-mana, red and green, 2/2 legendary creature boar. Ah, sweet! What? Yeah! Sarah Sraw, Boar Warden. Cool. Reach. Whenever you cast a spell, create a 1/1 green boar creature token with trample. I'm so into this. She finds beauty in the tiniest of moments. An ideal world in the grandest of ideas. Okay, so here's the question, right? Do we think this is like a boar person? Because you know how like a Johnny, a lion man, is just a cat, right? They're not like there's not like a separate leonine like creature type. So I don't know. It's an interesting question of like, is this like a boar person? Or is it literally a boar? I think it's literally a boar. If it was a boar person, it would probably be like a boar warrior or something. That's usually what Magic does. Cool. I do like this like boar that's just like living its life in the woods or whatever, and it's just appreciating the beauty of the moments around them. That's adorable. I love it. Benthic Infiltrator is a 1-mana colorless artifact. For generic and tap, target creature gains flying until end of turn. Huh. This is good. I like this. Benthic Infiltrator is a weird name. Like, this makes me think of if they said, what does it mean to have flying? Oh, flying just means evasion. I guess this is actually, I hadn't thought about that until just now. Merfolk often can't be blocked. And I think the reason for that is because they want to have evasion, but they can't just give them flying because, well, the idea of having flying is a very specific thing. Narratively, something that's in the air can block other things in the air. But the merfolk is swimming under you to attack you, right? It still has evasion. And instead of having a separate word that's like flying and swimming as two different keywords or something, merfolk just have unblockable. But that's what this reads to me. This reads as like, oh, they want to have like a form of evasion, and flying is the go-to quote-unquote form of evasion. So we're just going to use it as a stand-in for swimming. I don't know. You will never be allowed to enter the pool. Lisak, Servitor of Sutasi. What? You will never be allowed to enter the pool. Yeah, I guess if you play this card, no one will trust you again. Very good. Wait a minute. Was that card what I think that's called? Landwalk! Landwalk is a 3-mana instant. It's red. It is put a land on the top of your library. Landwalk, put a land on the bottom of your library. Okay, I think this one I will actually reroll. Not because it's called Landwalk, which honestly I think that's just very funny, but because, and not because it has a keyword called Landwalk. So based on the templating, we see it having one ability, which is put a land on the bottom of your library. What does a land mean? Where is it? If it was target land, you would assume it's like on the battlefield. I would assume this is, you choose a land on the battlefield, that one gets put on the bottom of your library. Cool. And then Landwalk, that is an ability word. It simply precedes an ability of the word, which is fine. It doesn't have any purpose here, because it's not like Landwalk when, if you were attacked by a creature with a Landwalk ability this turn, do something, right? Like it doesn't care. The ability word is irrelevant here. Anyway, the point being is Landwalk is fine. The issue with this card is that it says put a land on the bottom of your library, put a land on the bottom of your library. And if we even just assume, okay, they mean target land, that's fine. You can't put someone else's land on the bottom of your library. The only use case of this card is to say, my opponent's lands I'm going to put on the bottom of my library. And that's an illegal game action, right? Like, I can't do that. If it said put a land on the bottom of its owner's library, this would be fine. But it says your. That is why I'm banning this card and rerolling it. Hey, we got a free first reroll. Nice. Landfall from the Skirk Mountains, slicing through the desert. Tidal Wave is a 3-mana red instant. Tidal Wave deals 3 damage to target creature and each other creature that player controls. Okay, so once again, we're going to reroll this. Why? Because it says that player. Who is that player? There is no player specified on this card, so we're rerolling it. The wave broke, and it's terrible, implacable. And its terrible, implacable hunger consumed the beach. I got there eventually. Ignite the Future is a 3-mana red instant. Choose one. Create 3 1/1 red elemental creature tokens. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Create a 3/3 red elemental creature token with haste. I like this card. Oh, this card's cool. So on your opponent's turn, you could cast this as instant speed to make 3 1/1s and have some blockers, right? Block some stuff. On your turn, you can cast it to have a 3/3 with haste and then attack with the same turn you cast it. Or maybe sometimes you're just in a situation where 1/1s aren't useful and you'd rather a 3/3. So, instant speed, or whatever, right? Or a 3/3 is not useful, so you'd rather have 1/1s because you have like an effect that gives all your creatures +1/+1. You just would rather to have multiple bodies. This is cool. I like this. The middle mode, of course, is basically irrelevant. Giving something +1/+0 is not good. I guess, it might be worth it if you care about, maybe you're just in a situation where you really want to kill something your opponent has, and a combat trick is worth it to you. I actually really like cards that sort of, have their obvious modes, and then they have, one other mode that you just don't use, 90% of the time, but you're really glad it's there in that fringe situation. I think that's fun. Time and time again, we've proven we can face death, endure hunger, and outlast every living thing on Urborg. Yanok, former deity. Former deity is such a, loaded set of words. That is excellent. Oh, that's very good. I like that a lot. Very cool. All right, so that brings us to the end of our first pack. The idea of saying, all right, here's 20 cards. This is one pack that is going to be used in our eventual draft. Cool. Something I want to try, and we'll see if it's something that is fun and people enjoy or not. Something I want to try is drawing art for one of these cards. And of course, there's two obvious choices. We've got our very, very cool Sarah Sra, Warden of the Winds, a legendary boar. Excellent. And then we have our other option, which is, I went a bit too far up, but Gilmahav Keyrune, our orc pirate. I started by blocking in the general shape that I wanted to use for Gilmahav. Originally I wanted to use Sarah Sra, but I just really couldn't make her anatomy work. Maybe it was just a bad art day, hard to say. But I ended up shifting focus to Gilmahav, our orc pirate. I love the idea of orc pirates. It works so well. It's unexplored territory as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I'm just throwing in this general piratey shape. There's nothing special going on here yet. I did want them to seem very much like a captain. It's not very clear whether or not they are, but you're a legendary pirate, you're probably a captain, especially if you've got the ear of the queen, you know what I'm saying? So, it seemed to make sense for me. I wanted to give them a big poofy cravat, that's just fun, and the big old sword. I did think that their double strike would be fun to be represented by having 2 swords, but I didn't feel like drawing 2 swords, so I didn't. Pro artist hacks. I lowered the opacity of the line art so I could go in and properly ink it. It's not something I normally do. I usually am pretty lazy as an artist, and I'll just do it in one take for the line art, but I really wanted to take a second shot at it and smooth out some of the stuff, especially with the hair being just kind of a loose shape and not actually specific lines. When I'm done with the line art, I remove that low opacity layer and start to bring in some colors. Because Gilmahav is black and red, I did want to make sure I was focusing on those colors. A green orc reads to green. It's not inherently an issue, but it is how it feels. And also, a blue, clothes reads really blue. So the sort of general, admiral colors I ended up dropping. I did use sort of a purple to represent the black, which is pretty common for Magic these days. And I wanted to give them gray hair with some white in it, sort of an older look. I never really know how to go with hair, especially for fantasy races like goblins and orcs. They tend to either be fully bald or they have, a little bit going on, but it's really inconsistent. And I thought sort of a gray with white would look good. With the skin and the jacket done, I wanted a little bit of a pop of color. I threw in a pink cravat, still following with the colors of red, but just being something to stand out a bit more. Add a little bit of gold detail on the shoulders and whatever that sash going across the middle is. Not entirely sure what that's supposed to be. And of course on the hilt of the sword. A little bit of highlights, and then I started going in with a multiply layer to add some shadows. They end up looking really red because I was using a red multiply, which I thought would be a nice effect, but it was a bit too strong. I end up lowering the opacity on that at the end in the final, just so that it's not so blatantly red, but still has this nice tint to it without being overpowering. And that's my rendition of Gilmhav Key Rune. See you all in the next one.